Well, it looks like it is officially noon. I guess let's go ahead and get started. So welcome to the September 17th, 2020 Rotary Club of Newport Zoom meeting. I think this is number 22, but who's counting again? Hey, there's our special guest I see logging on right now, Nico. Hey, Nico, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
Good. How have you been?
I've been doing great. It's been a while since the last time we talked.
Yeah, good to see you. How's Spain?
I'm from Bolivia.
Bolivia. Sorry about that.
No, don't worry.
My bad.
Don't worry about it. It's good. It's good. It's good. We just came out of quarantine. So that's some really good news. Some things are still closed, but things start opening back up.
Well, good. I'm glad you could join us. I know it's got to be what, 9 o'clock at night there now.
No. That would be
in Bolivia.
It's 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock.
I think he's Eastern time zone. He's only 3 hours from us in Bolivia.
That's not bad. I need to get my country's end time zone straight, I guess.
Welcome, Nico.
Glad
I'm
you
so
could
happy
join
you
us.
could make it.
Yeah,
It's great.
so let's see, for our pledge today, we have a flag photo that John's going to put up that I thought was kind of fitting for today. If we can get that on the screen. This is the flag that survived the Otis fires and is standing there in Otis now. So I thought this was a perfect image for today's flag salute. Would anyone like to lead us in the pledge?
Well, I will.
Okay, thanks, Sandy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
States of America and to the republic
for which
it stands,
one
one nation,
under
God,
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, well, thank you, Sandy. That always hard to get in sync on Zoom, but I think that went pretty well. So let's see, guests. I know we have Nico here. Do we have any other guests with us today? We'll get to our program here in just a minute. I have a few announcements to make. The ABCs of Rotary is going to take place next Tuesday, September 22nd, and that'll be on Zoom. And a few of us will be at the bank broadcasting that, Columbia Bank. But that's for new members, and anyone that would like to join is welcome to attend the Zoom. Let's see, I have a few things from today in history. I think this first one will maybe appeal to the baseball fans out there, including our speaker today. 1941, Cards Stan Musial makes his major league debut, going 2 for 4. 1964, the Beatles are paid a then record $150,000 for a concert in Kansas. And 1972, TV comedy MASH, adapted from the movie starring Alan Alda, Loretta Swit, and Wayne Rogers, debuts on CBS in the US. There's a local tie-in to that too. As many of you know, David Ogden Steers was a Newport resident for many years, up until he passed a couple years ago. He played Major Charles Emerson Winchester III, and I should also note that he was an Oregon Duck before he went on to Juilliard to graduate. So anyway, let's see, do we have any other announcements before we get into
it? He was also a North Eugene Highlander.
North Eugene Highlander, yeah, that's a good point. Let's see, I also have an announcement from district. They're working on setting up a charitable trust fund for fire damage. And this will benefit all of the fire damage across the state. So anyone that has incurred damages, whether they're in Lincoln County, Lane County, or any other counties, can benefit from that fund. So I'll share more info when we get a link to the donation page. So, but that's a good, that'll be a good resource here in Lincoln County. Boy, we've sure had some great community support, and boy, people have really rallied together to help the fire victims there in Otis and Lincoln City. So that's been really great to see.
Hey, Freddie, this is Nathan Perry from Salvation Army. I have a Rotary moment for you. Great.
Thanks, Nathan.
I'm sorry that I'm connecting my phone. The internet isn't working here for some reason, but Rotary moment. I got a call from many of our Rotary members about helping at the shelter and about helping with the Salvation Army over the last week or so with the fire relief. And it was incredible to see the amount of turnout from our club. So thank you for helping us. We served meals, we packed food boxes, and we've served the victims directly. So it was a corporate effort on our club. Thank you. That's a great Rotary moment right there.
Yeah, that is a great one. Thanks, Nathan, and thanks for everything the Salvation Army's done to help out with that. I know you guys have been really instrumental in helping take care of those folks.
With our pleasure. Thank you very much.
I have a comment too.
Sure.
Yeah, that district, the fund they're creating out of the Eugene Club, a district in Thailand has agreed to match dollar for dollar up to 10,000. And then the district is also going to match our contributions dollar for dollar up to 10,000. So for every dollar you give, you're going to end up with 3. So it's a pretty highly leveraged thing. That's so far. I don't know if other clubs or other districts have stepped up.
Yeah, that's a great point too, Keith. Thanks.
Freddie, this is Sonia. I'd like to say something too.
Sure.
Yeah, and so I want to second what Nathan said. We put out a call for the Lakeview residents that had to relocate down here, and they received so much help. They were all able to come and get relocated out of the fire. They're all back at Lakeview Senior Living now safely. Nobody was injured except for the one cat that passed away. But everybody made it, and thank you all so much. So many people stepped up that it was just amazing how much supplies and food and everything that they ended up with. It was really, really great.
Thanks, Sonia. Yeah, the Lincoln County Board of Realtors started accepting donations just shortly after the fire broke out, and it was amazing. We just completely filled our building, and clothing and toiletries and gift cards and you name it. So boy, the community as a whole has really stepped up, and that's pretty incredible. Despite all the bad stuff going on in 2020, there's definitely some good too. So let's see, Bob, you have anything for us today for the Sergeant of Arms?
Well, I saw somebody on here. I just can't believe it. Apparently you didn't have a lunch date or something. Spencer, where are you? Spencer? Our city manager was on here a little bit ago. What did he do? Did he leave the meeting?
I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Oh.
Yeah. I forgot what you looked like. Where have you been?
Well, I was actually chased down by Diane Nelson out at the natural gas tank a while back and said, you really need to be participating in these Zoom Rotary meetings. And so, Diane, thank you for chasing me down as I was walking Chopper at the gas tank, and so I am here, and I think I'll try to be a little more regular, and I'm willing to pay some dues, Bob. So whatever you think's appropriate.
Oh, no, there shouldn't be a penalty on. I mean, if you wanted to pay something, that's fine, but we certainly can't charge you for attending a meeting. Can we?
Well, I'll put $100 towards my next Paul Harris for my absence. So,
well, I certainly hope I didn't make you feel guilty.
Only slightly.
Oh, okay. Freddie, what time is it again in Spain, or is it Bolivia?
Yeah, that would be Bolivia, 3 o'clock. I won't forget that. So okay. That's got to be worth $20.
Oh, okay. Well, once again, I don't want to make anyone feel guilty. Rob, I saw you in here too, Rob.
Oh, Big Bob.
Hey, there you are.
How's it
Hey,
going?
where you been?
I've been here, there, and everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to see you back again.
It's great to be back, Bob.
Yeah. I didn't never see any makeups for you.
Well, you're right. That's
Oh.
it's sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing COVID response here with NOAA, and unfortunately there was an admirals meeting every Thursday at noon that yeah. But we're reconstituted now and no more admirals meetings on Thursdays. So
Oh,
there
good.
we go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and I don't feel
want you to
guilty at
feel
all.
Guilty.
I don't feel guilty at all. Don't worry.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Now you're making me feel guilty.
Yeah. Maybe you should. Maybe you should.
Sandy, I can't help but ask, what's going on in your life?
Well, you may have noticed that I filed for mayor.
I did.
And I am $50 happy that our younger daughter and husband made it out here from Charleston in their RV, just missing COVID and firestorms, stayed here a week, and they're now, I think, going through smoke in Southern Oregon. So I'm so happy they made it out here and back. So that's been going on.
Boy.
And also with art. So never, always busy.
Yes, it sounds like never a dull moment. Well, good.
Yeah.
Is Julie Hannaran? She show up?
Don't see her on here.
Yeah, okay. All right. All right. Well, anybody else got happy dollars that they would like to spread our way?
I think
Yes.
I will be $20 happy for being back. And
Well,
not
by
having to go to
golly.
the Admirals meeting. Yeah. Yeah. I'll be $20 happy.
Oh, good. Thanks, Rob. We appreciate
anytime.
that.
Anytime, Bob. Big Bob.
Bob,
Yeah,
I invited Nico and several of the other exchange students. So I guess all told, it's going to add up, but I'm going to give $25 because Nico came and joined us today. And why don't we send that off? Why don't we send that off to the Salvation Army? And I guess if Noemi's here, she's been a pretty regular, but we'll put another 25 with that for them. So for,
Good for
Noemi.
you, Keith. Yeah, we appreciate that. All right.
That's awesome. Thanks, Bob.
Well, I know Wendell's happy because he got to stick his fingers in my mouth. I always love it when I go to Wendell. He gets both of his hands in my mouth, and then he'll ask me a question. And you're sitting there choking on his hands.
Bob, I asked my hygienist and you if there was anything bothering you. I just saved you an exam fee by not sitting down and putting my fingers in your mouth.
Oh, it seemed like maybe your foot, but anyway, it makes no difference.
No, I'm not happy, Bob.
Boy, you don't think you were happy. What about me? All right. Anybody else? Anybody?
This is Sonia. Yeah, I'd like to give $100. Two reasons. One, I had my last chemo treatment on Thursday last week.
Hey.
And also I was doing the fundraiser for Cancer, and we beat the $5,000 mark on, well, officially, I guess yesterday, but last Friday we brought over $5,000 donations. That fundraiser is now closed, but my boss, Becky Donaldson, will be shaving her head, and I'll let everybody know. So thank you, everybody who's helped out with that.
Have a double thumbs up for Sonia. Come on, everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody get those thumbs up. Way to go. Yeah, we're proud of you, Sonia. Anybody else? Richard, for some reason you got into the frame here, and I thought maybe you had something to say. Do you have something to say?
I actually do. I wanted to, since Spencer's here, I want to remind him that he's got the program on October 1st. So we expect his continued attendance, and as well as being our program here October 1. So just a couple weeks.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well,
another reason I'm showing up today too, because I didn't want that to be my welcome back session.
Good show.
So,
all right. Well, we'll turn it back over to Freddie.
I have some happiness. The 2020 census is coming to an end, and so I'm $20 happy. My actual last day with the census is a week from tomorrow, so September 25th is my last day. Mixed feelings, but overall, I've really enjoyed the census, and it's been a good experience. If you know anyone who has not yet completed their census, we probably are not in a place to find them because we pretty well knocked on all the doors we can knock. We will be at JC Market tomorrow from 11 to 3. If someone has barriers that they need help getting their census completed, there will be people there that can do it on the spot from 11 to 3. I won't be there, but a couple of my colleagues will. And other than that, thank you all so much for humoring me as I'm $20 happy for the 2020 census.
Well, thank you very much, Jim. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, we'll turn it back over to Freddie then. Freddie?
All right, thanks, Bob. Nicely done, as always. So our program today is going to be a great one. I had to ask his wife for a little bit of dirt in case I had to do the introduction, but Kathy is here, so I will let her do the honors.
I am happy to introduce my husband of 36 years, Mr. Dave Heater. Dave is a graduate of Newport High School. He's also a Navy veteran, and he served during the Iran crisis that happened during the 80s. Dave Heater, if you didn't know this, is a diehard Dodgers fan. He is a great husband, an incredible father, and a very, very happy papa of 3 beautiful grandchildren. He is the general manager and has been, I think, since 2011 of the Ripley's, believe it or not, and the Waxworks down on the Bayfront. He's very involved in all the Bayfront activities and serves on the City of Newport Committee. And just one little tiny bit of trivia about my dear husband. One year when he was in middle school, he bet a year's worth of lunch money on the Minnesota Vikings winning the Super Bowl. So he lost his lunch money for an entire year, went hungry every day at lunch. And by the way, the Vikings still haven't won a Super Bowl. So next time you see him out and about, lunch is on Dave. Dave Heater.
Thank you. You got that PowerPoint, Zeg?
I do. I'll put it up here.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Nice to see everybody. I've been here since 2013, so I'm going on my 8th year at Ripley's, believe it or not. You probably know us as Mariner Square. We've been through a year-long remodel, and one of the things that came out of that was a change in name, and we're now Ripley's World of Adventure. Ripley's, believe it or not, World of Adventure. Okay, John, you can go to the next. So just a little background about how all this got started. Robert Ripley was a syndicated cartoonist way back. He was published in newspapers around the country, and in 1918, he published this Champs and Chumps that you can see here on the PowerPoint. It became even more popular than he already was, moved him on to a career of traveling to over 200 countries. Now this was 1918, bringing back artifacts from every place he went. There were no airplanes in those days, so it's quite a feat to not only travel to 200 countries, but to also bring so many amazing things back with him. At its peak, Robert's publications were read by 80 million people every single day back in 1918. And today, Ripley's auditoriums, as they're called, are visited by 20 million people annually. Okay, John. The current property opened as Mariner Square in 1985. Prior to that, we had the Oregon Undersea Gardens, which I'll talk about later. That took dock in Yaquina Bay in 1966. So since 1985, we have entertained, scared, and amazed just about 6 million people. We've employed endless local residents, including many who can say that this was their first job. So let's take a look at a little bit of trivia here. Ripley's has had only 3 general managers in its history, and they've all 3 been Rotarians. Chris Waugh, who most of you know, Neil Henning, who most of you know, and myself. Waxworks was originally on Highway 101. Many of you that have been here a while will remember Madame Tussauds Royal Pacific Wax Museum. It had a beautiful facade, but behind it was actually just a bunch of trailers connected. Undersea Gardens, which I'll talk about in a little bit, was one of 6 vessels that were built as floating aquariums. It was quite a feat in the 1960s, and Newport was quite honored to have one of those. Ours was the last one in the water and was only out of dry dock in all those years in 1984. To give you an idea of how society changes, when we opened, we had a beautiful rendition of the Sermon on the Mount. Over the years that morphed into Lord of the Rings. And now we have it as a air science room for kids or a bypass to get past our scary part. Many of you will remember the octopus and diver that was located on OUG for all those years. I can't tell you how many phone calls I've had or how many publications have put in there that octopus attack was a real thing. Go ahead, John. So this is how the building looked originally. It was originally designed by Dietmar Goebel, another member of our club. It's a beautiful property. You can see it from the original design. This was just taken 2 years ago before the remodel. So even in its age state, it was quite a beautiful property with the neon, the lights, and of course those beautiful trees. Go ahead, John. So a little trip down memory lane, because many of you probably haven't been in the property for a while. These are some of the things we had in our property when we closed down a little bit over a year ago. You can see Michael Jackson and Paul Newman, Mae West. That's very current. We had a match set in there. And then you can see our featured Bigfoot. So we were really in need of an update. And we closed down for, well, we were closed for almost a year thanks to COVID, but construction was 9 months. Go ahead, John. And one of the things that we did, one of the hardest things I've probably ever done in my life was decommissioning the Undersea Gardens with regulations, and the coordination and relocations were crazy. I want to give a really special shout out to the Oregon Coast Aquarium. You can see some of the pictures here in the PowerPoint. It was a very difficult task to transfer many of those fish, especially the larger ones. I'd also like to thank Oregon State University and Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife, because through their help and coordination, we were able to replace, release almost all of our fish, and the only few that couldn't be released or replaced were used for science at the Hatfield Marine Science Center. So overall, it was a very, very productive process. I'm personally very glad to get rid of that old barge. It presents a nice history to America, though, or to Newport, though. Go ahead. So when we decided for sure to say goodbye and announce that we were closing the Undersea Gardens, I put the announcement on our Facebook page, and we really never used our Facebook page very much back then. So I was amazed at the response. It garnered 485,000 different individuals, had 106,000 engagements, 4,200 shares, and 1,600 remarks. Go ahead, John. And some of the replies that came in, you can read them. I won't go through all of them, but you know, I worked at the Undersea Gardens in the summer of 1987 as my second teen job. Thank you for the memories. I think every kid in Oregon in the 70s and 80s went there. I'm sad that wax statues take precedence over living creatures. I had a lot of hate mail, a lot of love mail. People asked the US government to turn us into a National Historic Building, even though we weren't really even a building. So go ahead, Zach. This is a picture that was taken by one of my divers as it was towed to its place of decommissioning. On the side, you can see a picture of how it looked just a couple of days before we towed it away. And then again, a picture of the front of Mariner Square in those days, and Ripley's, believe it or not, and Waxworks with the, go ahead, John. So, and this is what it looks like now. It's much brighter in color, as you can see. We have lots of different things outside that we've never had before, but a new era begins. Go ahead, John. Now inside you'll find in Ripley's 11 brand new galleries. You can compare it to the pictures I showed you before, where we have much more modern, open look, much more well lit. Everything from a rendition of Ripley's office down there on the bottom, I guess bottom left, to Wadlow, an animatronic man who stands up to be 8 foot 3 inches tall. Once the tallest man, actually still the tallest man to ever live. Go ahead, John. And in Waxworks, now it's called Louis Tussauds Waxworks. We've updated that a lot and added a lot of superheroes. We've upgraded our scary section. You can see we've put in some movie sets here with Stranger Things and Hulk bursting through a wall. So it's a lot of fun. Some of it's the same and would be recognized, but pretty much a full makeover. It's really quite nice. Go ahead, John. Okay, John. And this is a quick look. Oop, one more, back. This is a quick look at our gift shop. You can see the entrance to Ripley's there. And then we have 2 new games on premise. One is a laser race, which is similar to what you saw Tom Cruise do in Mission Impossible with the lasers going all over the place. And another one is like a giant smash-a-dash where you go through and you hit buttons as fast as you can. Both a lot of fun. I encourage you to come in and give it a shot. Okay, John. So our architects on this new project were Dustin and Amanda Capri and Dustin and Dietmar Goebel. They did a wonderful job. And one of the things that happened is that Dustin ran across Casey and they didn't even know each other at the time. And through a series of discussions, to make a long story short, we teamed up with the City of Newport Arts Committee, a wonderful committee. And my company paid for half, the Arts Committee paid for half, and we hired Casey to do this beautiful seascape. I encourage you to come down and look at it if you haven't. It runs the entire length of the property. It celebrates the history of the Undersea Gardens. We also have a painting, a small painting of our original founder, and then just a celebration of the sea life and the things that make Newport what it is today. Okay, John. Along with that, we decided in our planning with Dustin and Dietmar and everybody else to add other pieces of art outside in order to make this a big presentation that I think everybody in the community and the county can be proud of. Lots of art from artists around the world, carvings and welded models and recycled tires. Makes up a very beautiful presentation we're very, very proud of. John? Through the whole thing, we had many, many phone calls and emails as people started to see siding come off and things come down. I'm concerned that we were gonna cut down these beautiful iconic trees. Of course, we chose to keep the trees because they are so beautiful. Also, they're the only thing holding the mountain from falling down into Pacific seafood, so that's also a good point. But we decided to keep those and again, blended with the beautiful architecture and the great bright colors. It's a wonderful presentation. Okay, John. And that's it. I'd like to thank Dustin and Amanda, and this is what you have here. We went through an amazing process. We're open now, receiving guests as I speak from my office here, dealing with COVID and smoke. I wish the sky looked like it did in that picture. But it's very exciting. We're very happy to be back in business, representing and drawing people to Newport. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. And the other day when I was driving on the bayfront, several tourists were out in front with their pictures being taken with the statues and sculpture around outside. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of social media about that. Thanks, Sandy.
Any other questions for Dave?
I just wanted to make a comment. This is Dee. Sorry, my camera's off today. it's just gorgeous. I just want to say it's just, wow, it's just incredible. So just want to give feedback on how beautiful and amazing it looks. Great. So kudos
Thank
to the
you. There are
architects.
probably some in the crowd that don't agree with you, but I think it's beautiful. I kind of picked the
love
colors, so.
it. I love it. I think they did a great job.
The scary part, is it still scary inside?
It's even more scary, Jim. I would suggest you let me walk you through it if you want to go through there.
Okay, would you hold my hand?
I will. I will.
Thanks.
It's even scarier than the Panthers defense.
Oh boy.
The inside does look nice, though.
Yeah, thank you. We're very proud of the property. It turned out wonderful. Yeah, it was a great team to work with Dustin and Dietmar, and we through their recommendations, we hired a great contractor and used a lot of local subcontractors as much as we could to ensure that we also boosted the public economy, the local economy. So overall, I think Dietmar would agree that it was a really highly successful endeavor.
Well,
Newport
I just heard my name mentioned, and I just wanted to say thank you to David and Oakland Marine for having the faith in us as architects, and Dustin, Amanda, and I to make this happen. And I also want to thank the construction firm out of Corvallis, Skirting Construction, for the wonderful job they did. So overall, it was a very successful project, and I'm really happy that I was able to help with it the second time around. So it's a wonderful place to go through if you haven't gone through yet.
It was a pleasure.
Dave,
oh, go ahead, Richard, sorry.
In the past, you've offered locals like that pass, the annual pass. Is that something that's going to be revisited or brought about this year?
Yeah, I'm not sure what we're going to do. We haven't really explored that yet with so much going on with the COVID-19 and all that kind of stuff. We still haven't got our west parking lot repaved. Road and Driveway is going to do that this spring. So we'll probably offer something in December. I'm not sure what it was. I don't think it'll be $8 to get in, but I think we're going to try to do something for the locals. Also, when it comes to the Rotary Club, we're going to try to get you guys in on an evening. We'll close down and have you guys all in for the evening to just kind of walk through and play the games and take a look. And so then you can spread the word for me.
Hey, Dave, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Bob Wright, when he was when we finished the original building, he gave me a lifetime pass. Is that still valid for me?
Those were void when he was buried. But if you talk to me, I might be able to get you in on a slow day, Dietmar.
Oh, no, not to worry. I'm just joking with you.
Yeah, I have a comment. Having raised, quite a few kids, well, not quite a few, 3 or 4, I guess, in Newport, there's a real limited number of attractions like that for kids in the area. So it was always a favorite of my kids, and I know that the youth exchange weekend we always have in March, that was always a big hit for that group too, to be able to go to the Bayfront and go through the Ripley's and Undersea Gardens and Waxworks. And I know that Noemi didn't get a chance to do that because of COVID and the shutdown this year, but I know Nico went through there with the exchange group, and thanks for offering that for the kids for Rotary too.
We're excited to do it next year when they come back. It's always a fun thing for our staff also. We have lots of field trips in the same age group, and the Rotary kids are amazingly well behaved when they're here. It's quite a joy to have them.
I want to add one note and just say, I echo Dietmar's comments that, how appreciative we are to be able to do that project. But for the facility itself, I think one thing for all of you that have younger kids or grandkids, our kids are 5.5 and 3.5, and they absolutely love it. So I think there's sort of this perception of that it's tailored towards older kids or adults. And I think there's a lot for older kids and adults, but there's also a lot for younger kids now. So I think that's something for all of you to know as you go down to the Bayfront and have family in town or grandkids.
Yeah, thanks, Dustin. I see Amanda back there too. So one of the things that we all talked about when we did this was we wanted to make sure we made it very multi-age wise, so that it appealed to different age groups, because we were a little bit to the sort of darker, older side. Lots of kids got scared. We still have a few kids who get scared in Waxworks, but nowhere near to the same degree. It's much more family oriented than it was.
All right, any other questions or comments for Dave? All right, well, thanks, Dave. Oh, go ahead, sorry, Sylvia.
I grew up in Eugene, and it was one of our fondest childhood memories when our parents would splurge, me and my brothers, and get to see the Waxworks and Ripley. So I appreciate that that tradition is carried on. I know a lot of you might have taken your kids through, or maybe even gone through yourself with childlike wonder. So such an asset to the community, and I appreciate that tradition.
And I know I lived with him through all of this remodel, but one of the things that I was most impressed with was the fact that all of those fish from Undersea Gardens, you know, they couldn't be released out into the wild, which I didn't understand that, but as a zoo, as a floating zoo, which it kind of became, all of those fish had to be relocated. And I just can't even tell you how much time was spent in making sure that every single one of those fish, all the way up to the sturgeon, were accounted for, and then shipped off, picked up, taken away. It was an amazing process. And I thought for our community, that's kind of a behind the scenes thing that happened there. But all of those living creatures were completely taken care of, and every single one was thought about and handled really well, and have gone on to live life somewhere else and not just out in the open, because it would have been like releasing a tamed animal out into the vast ocean. So that was a really cool thing that happened with that too, for our community, I thought.
Yeah, fish people are pretty amazing people. I had no idea, not being in the industry, just how truly passionate they are. It was overwhelming in some instances.
All right, well, thanks for the great presentation, Dave. We're going to vaccinate 50 children against polio in your name as appreciation for you presenting to us today. And let's see. Also, I had a call in. I forgot to announce earlier, Carolyn Bauman emailed in a $100 donation. So she hasn't been with us for a while, but I wanted to mention that. And how about Secretary Jim, I believe, today?
Okay.
Okay, so we have about 33 people present in the meeting, and I applied 11 makeups. So we have 43 of 58 for 74.1%. And some of you that are doing math faster than me are saying that's more makeups than, that's because I had given Sylvia a makeup already. So I gave her a comp makeup to make up for the makeup that she didn't need to make up. And so we're at 74% counting makeups. It's a good turnout, and I really appreciate how these Zoom meetings are giving us an opportunity to have meetings with safety. And it's so good to see Nico and Noemi as well. Good to see you guys. Membership incentive is $5. That went to Paul Schrader. Paul's not here today, so next week it'll be 10, and I won't be here.
All right, thanks, Jim. How about, let's see, do we have a social media award this week?
Yep, this week goes to the winner of $5 is Robbie Weiner.
All right, congratulations, Rob.
And I've got the 50-50 too.
Okay.
So Sonia got this nifty, well, I don't know, is this gonna work? Yeah. She got this nifty thing from the Chamber of Commerce Ambassadors Convention. It's an online spin the roulette wheel. So let's see what happens.
Shuffling your names again. Y'all are in there 6 times, everyone who's given $5. And so let's see. Let's go.
Am I in the way?
Nope.
Round and round she goes.
Jim Walker.
All right.
It came out back, it's backwards, but that's okay. You can, that's who it's saying. Jim
All
Walker
right.
won.
Congrats, Jim.
And there was $70. So Jim won $37.50. I don't know if you're still there. Oh, I think you might have hit the power button.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, are you still there?
Yes.
Yeah. How about a Salvation Army donation?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Well, again, it was great to see Nico, and I see Noemi is on here too. And I know in France it's 9 hours ahead. So thanks for staying up late and joining us, Noemi. And hopefully both of you will come back and join us again here real soon. Any last minute announcements?
Yeah, I do, Freddie. I got one.
Okay.
So we had Paul Schrader, Child Advocacy Center. We had him scheduled for October 22nd, but we have to reschedule him. He's got some things coming up. So I do have an opening if anybody wanted to hop in or felt left out. October 22nd, we do have an opening there, and then otherwise we're December 10, and then we're into January. And then just a little other prelude there. We've got next week is Students of the Month, so it'll be interesting and fun to hear Raina and introduce the students, see how they're doing, see how they're adapting to the Zoom and the what is the distance learning, comprehensive distance learning, I think as they call it. And then of course after that, then Spencer on 10-1, and then we'll have our very own Jeff Lichman give a talk, and then Life and Times with Jeff, and then What's Up with Radio with Stephanie Lynn. So just a couple good programs coming up to follow the tremendous program we had today. So let me know if you guys want to hop in and grab that October 22nd, or if you have an idea.
All right. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, it sounds like some great programs in store. And yeah, it's been interesting with school back in session. I've got a freshman this year, and we're trying to adapt to the distance learning, and so far so good, knock on wood. But, anyway, any other last minute announcements?
Ready? Just a question for whoever can answer. Kind of got sidetracked with the fires, but where do we stand with applying and getting approval for phase 2 in the county? Can somebody comment?
Apparently nobody.
Yeah, I don't think Ursula is on here, but last I saw they were going to reevaluate on September 29th. Is that kind of what everyone's been hearing?
Spencer might have an idea.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Is the next time they'll be evaluating will be at the end of this month.
Yeah, based on the statistics, it looks like things are starting to get better. I noticed that every day there's either 0 or maybe 1 case in Lincoln County, knock on wood. So it seems to be improving. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us today, and hope to see you all next week. Like Richard said, we have Students of the Month, and I think Dr. Karen Gray will be joining us too, Superintendent of the school district. So that should be a good one. And see y'all next time.
How about 5-way test?
Oh, 5-way test. Thanks, Richard. Would you like to take us out with that?
I'd love to. Okay. Rotary, and we call it the 4-way test of the things we think, say, or do. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair
to all concerned?
Third,
will it build goodwill and better friendships?
Fourth,
will it be beneficial to all concerned?
And fifth,
is it fun?
All right, nicely done. Thanks, Richard. And see you all next Thursday. Thanks again for joining us today.
Bye.